Carmen.
We were slow. Yes. Dump off.
Hey, Jeff, man, I can't get nobody to look at my computer on the on the
This
20.
camera's live. Search.
Hey, my brother, I can talk to him.
A pleasant good morning, everyone. Good morning. God has smiled on FAMU this morning with great weather to greet our family and community stakeholders as we salute the beloved Jackson family and celebrate the journey of the dynamic duo Rattlers Eddie Jackson and Dr. Geraldine Jackson. Their tireless commitment toward being impactful yielded an unforgettable legacy, which helped elevate FAMU athletics, enhance the lives of our student athletes, and of course, this illustrious institution in such a monumental way. Here now with more on this heartwarming occasion, saluting the magnificent Jays, please welcome an amazing leader of the academic landscape, the always congenial Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Allison Watson.
It is such an honor to be before you all and give the welcome and occasion for a dynamic couple, as Carmen said. And it is my privilege to welcome you all to a momentous honor of the Eddie and Geraldine Jackson Wall of Honor. This is our tribute, not only to a man and woman, but a remarkable husband and wife whose lives and legacy left an indelible mark on our beloved Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. Eddie Jackson was more than just an alumnus. As a president of the 220 Quarterback Club, he poured his passion into supporting our athletic programs and our football team, the Marching 100, and others along the way. His dedication to FAMU never waned, even after his retirement in 2002. Instead, it intensified and electrified others around him as he continued to champion the university that we love dearly. Today, as we unveil this wall of honor, we do more than just remember Eddie and Geraldine Jackson. We celebrate their life, their work, and their profound impact that they both had at FAMU. We also honor their family who are with us today, acknowledging the sacrifices that they made and the support that they gave. We allow them to dedicate themselves fully to this university. FAMU has lost one of the most loyal sons, but in his spirit, we will live on, and it will be forever in our hearts. And to all of those who knew him in the programs he helped build, and now in this wall of honor that we get to see at every commencement, at every convocation, and in every celebration and basketball game for lives to come. As the university's chief academic officer and on behalf of the entire Rattler community, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Jackson family for the contributions that Eddie and Geraldine have made together at FAMU. May their legacy continue to be the wind beneath our wings as we strive to uphold the values and the excellence that he so dearly cherished. This is the welcome and the occasion.
Thank you so very much, Provost Watson. We're delighted to have with us today. Come on over, Chief O. Come on over. You can sit right over here. Just before we move forward, we'd like to acknowledge our university leadership. We'd also like to acknowledge number 12, the 12th wonder of Florida A&M University, Dr. Larry Robinson. Thank you for being here. And this conversation is really important. As we look around, we also see other key leaders in the house today. Of course, we see our executive vice president and Chief O, as we call him, Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Donald Palm, my son. There he is. We're also glad to have with us today our Chief of Staff, the one and only Attorney Linda Barge Miles is in the house. And at the helm of FAMU Athletics, I did see her, our AD Tiffany Dawn Sykes, who is also a part of this growth and wealth. Our Deputy Athletic Director, I do see Mr. Excitement. I think I do see him. There he is, Mike Smith over there. We're also happy to have from the School of Business and Industry, Dean Shante Feinstein. We do have coaches in the house today. I believe our new face, two faces from basketball are here today. Coach Pressure, I see you over there. Coach Morton. And another new face on the hardwood, Coach Query. Welcome. Who's hiding? Who? Hey, Dean Price, it's good to see you. You're the little one, a student. We're also happy. Where's Coach? Hey, he's a little one. He has that childlike face. Brother. Coach Al, it's good to see you. Other members of athletics, other coaches, please raise your hand so we can say, hey, Coach Cole, we see you guys there. Looking forward to it. Back. And don't forget, tomorrow we've got a big event. You see them preparing down there on the main floor for the boosters kickoff luncheon that starts at 2 p.m. If you don't have your ticket, I don't know, some of our leads with 220 may be able to say whether there's some tickets still available. As we mentioned, 220, members of the 220 are still in the house. Please raise your hand. We want to give you a hearty thank you for all you've done, and boosters who are with us today. Please wave. Thank you so very much. Our former president of the National Alumni Association, Mr. Tony Mitchell, is also here. Thank you, sir. And also, the man in the driver's seat for athletic communications, Josh Padilla. I see you over there. Thank you so very much. Thank you all so very much. Now, as we continue to move forward, in the best of times and when the dark clouds are on the horizon, the word that I read tells me that we should, in all things, give thanks. Here to lead us with a word of inspiration and invocation, please welcome Elder Dr. R.B. Holmes, Senior Pastor of Bethel Missionary Baptist Church.
Reverend clergy, President Robinson, President Bird, Beard, faculty, administration, and the great members of this Jackson family. We're indeed honored to celebrate this high moment with you, Dr. Jackson, with your beloved family. Let us pray. Eternal God, we pause now to give you thanks and thanksgiving. You taught us in your word, in everything, give thanks. We praise you for our interim president and our former president and all the men and women who have blessed this institution to thrive and bring hope and joy to so many people. We thank you. We thank you for this 220 quarterback club, for their guidance, their wisdom, their dedication, and their commitment to FAMU. We thank you for the spirit and substance, truth of Brother Eddie Jackson, a man of dignity, a man of love, a man of character, and a man of faith. We thank you for his beautiful wife, her strength, her grace, and her kindness. Bless continuously Dr. Jackson and the entire household. Bless this ceremony. Thank you for your presence, for your peace, your strength, and your mercy and your love. In the high name and rich name of our living Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. We can never give enough thanks. And thank you so much again, Elder Holmes. He's been accelerating his career as a leader in the driver's seat of academia and community service for decades. His journey includes consistent matriculation as a trailblazer with meaningful executive moves that ultimately landed him at the helm of leadership as the fourth president of Pasco Hernando State College. My, how time flies. As we fast forward his service and take a look nearly 9 years later, he garnered the distinguished role as President Emeritus. But his story didn't end there. He clipped his heels 7 times and made a meteoric rise to the highest of 7 hills, where he was recently appointed interim president of his alma mater, Florida A&M University. Please welcome, for a salute to our honorees and the official unveiling, trailblazer, mentor, advocate for educational excellence while inspiring future generations to strive for greatness, our interim university president, Dr. Timothy Beard.
Thank you very much. Thank you to my classmate, illustrious Carmen Cummins Martin. We came in together 44 years ago. You have a lot of stories to tell, but we can't tell it today. I am indeed honored to be in your presence today. Certainly my good friend and brother, President Larry Robinson. Let me just say the job that you performed as a leader of this institution will go down in history as a job that took this institution to another level. That's about right. I'm quite sure that we appreciate the top 100 and being the top HBCU in the country as others do outside of Florida. And I'm going to leave it at that. But I want to say good morning and welcome to each of you to the Jackson family, which is like family. Geraldine, as you know, Dr. Jackson, you and my mother-in-law finished school together in Wakulla County. And she gives her greetings today. She's not able to be here, but this is something that is so momentous. About 23 years ago, when Dr. Jane Ammons was installed as the president of North Carolina Central, I was invited up with my wife. We had the privilege to drive Eddie and Dr. Jackson to the ceremonies there and back. And we learned so much about the Jackson family, particularly Eddie. He said, Tim, I'm getting ready to retire in a few years, and I want to do two things. Go to my movies and write my book. I had a chance to read the book a few weeks ago, Coaching Against the Wind. What an inspiration. It allowed me to appreciate FAMU so much, much more. If you haven't had a chance to read the book, Coaching Against the Wind, you need to read it. It tells the great history of this institution from an athletic standpoint, but I'm able to take those principles and apply them to our life every day. But it will more than anything give you a greater appreciation for whence we have come. We've come a long ways, but it took people like Eddie Jackson to help us to get to where we are. And I often tell younger generations, and even my generation, if we are to be able to see Father act any more intelligent, it's not because we're any smarter. It's because we stand on the shoulders of giants like Eddie Jackson. Eddie was more than a public relations specialist. He was more than a former FAMU vice president of university relations. To call him a public relations man won't do him justice. Eddie Jackson was the prime minister of communications. And he was the absolute best at it while mixing in humor at every turn. He loved history as I love history. And that was one thing that sort of connected us. And over the years, and I would come back to the Hill during homecoming other occasions, we would get a chance to talk. Never wanted to leave each other's sight because we understood the importance of history. Eddie shared his gift with all of us, as well as others in communications who journeyed along his path. Eddie Jackson was a staunch advocate for Florida A&M University, and so was his beautiful bride, Dr. Geraldine Jackson, who stood beside him and created the ultimate FAMU family along with their daughter, Dr. Elisa Jackson English. Together they helped build and position this institution, branded with educating students to live their best lives. Together they carefully created opportunities for what we call life to get better. The Jacksons love for FAMU, and FAMU loves them back. It is indeed my honor to be here today to celebrate this very special and momentous occasion and the unveiling of the Eddie and Geraldine Jackson Wall of Honor. Let's give ourselves a great hand. Thank you very much. And as we always used to say at Pasco Hernando State College, our best days are ahead of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Interim President Beard. Let's give him another round of applause. Fort St. Joe.
Charts.
And at this time, I believe we're preparing for the unveiling. Shall we do so now, Sabrina and Vernon? We would like all of you, the members of the project work team, inspiration, to please come forward.
I think we have a quarterback club here, right?
Yeah.
Let's give our quarterback club a hand.
Okay, I need them to refrain. We got a stream going here, so if we could kind of keep the aisles clear, sir. If we could keep the aisles clear just a little bit for the people online, so they can see what's going on. One, two, three. One, two, three. It'll be the back of people's heads. When we get done, I'll just go up. Yeah. I'm good. Go ahead. Oh, man, I'm good.
Okay, Rattlers and family, we've still got part two of the program. So please, if you would take your seats kindly, so that we can give you some more knowledge about how we arrived at this occasion.
I'm too up in your business.
No, you're fine. Fine.
This is a monumental moment and is outstanding. But the recipe for this celebratory occasion involved generous helpings of thought, planning, and of course, teamwork. Joining us now for more on the journey, please welcome facilitators Mr. Harold Thornton and Mr. James Matthews.
Good morning. I'm not sure what. And I am just so elated and we're so happy to see this project to its fruition. Let me first begin by saying to Dr. Peter, thank you so much for being here and for immediately supporting the efforts that the project team and the 220 quarterback club. Your including this on your calendar had to be very challenging because this is his first week at Florida A&M University. And on behalf of the 220 quarterback club and all the project team, we'd like to say thank you. Can y'all give a round of applause? Well, it's also a sign that we are going to have a continued strong and close relationship between Dr. Beard, his office at university, and with the 220 quarterback club. So we're just elated and happy, and we're thankful for the kind of transitional stuff that's going on because it has to do with the kind of family that we have at Florida A&M University. And me being an alumni, I'm really taking. I'm really happy. We also like to thank someone else. We really remiss it. We didn't thank Dr. Larry Robinson for his immediate support of this project. I can recall being at one of the 220 quarterback club meetings when he was attending along with A.D. Sykes, and he made his comments and he moved to the back of the room, and the project team had been formed. And I said, well, let me see if he will be in support of it. So I kind of moved to the back of the room, and I went out the door for a minute, and Dr. Robinson was standing in the back. I thought he was leaving the building, but I wanted to get his verbal approval for this project first. And I walked up beside him as we were looking at the speaker, and I said, Dr. Robinson, we have formed a small project team, and we wanted to see if to honor Eddie and Gerald Jackson, and I wanted to request and then he immediately said, I'll support it. So I said, well, we'll get you a letter very soon. And we did that, and I want to thank you very much, and like to offer an opportunity for you to make a comment if you'd like to, if you'd like. Certainly can take some of our time.
That was good.
Some senators were in 7 figures. They all happen to be zeros. But thank you so much for all your help in getting the wheels in motion. And you did that early on during the process. We'd also like to thank and I know I'm supposed to be in the work group, but I've got to offer these thank yous because it took more than just the teamwork, and it took university personnel. I'd like to thank the provost, Dr. Watson. I'd like to thank Dean Price for your support of it. I'd like to thank Mr. Charlton, who Dr. Robinson handed off this project to see what we could do with the proposals. And he and Bodie Young, who was the project manager, and Kimball Thomas, who was the assistant director, really moved this thing forward quickly and gave us approval. And gave us some options here. We wanted to find a public, visible place to do a permanent display that honored 2 ordinary people that did great things for Florida A&M University. We know that Eddie was honored during one of the games on last year But and thank you, Carmen Cummings, for arranging that. That was great. But we wanted a permanent display to tell the story of two great people that have established a gold standard for giving back to the university and supporting the university. And I think that was what we were motivated to do as a work group, and we're thankful to do that. Dr. Jackson, I just want to say, you see why now I gave you some elusive answers when you asked me why I was contacting your daughter about the Eddie Jackson. Now you see. It took a lot of doing and stretching the truth to try to get you not to find out about it, but I hope that you're happy about it. That said, we also like to thank Cynthia Henry and Vernon Bryan and Sabrina Thomas for their talents and responsiveness to the many requests and inquiries that we made during a time that was challenging. The last 3-4 months have been very challenging, but we got through it. And we'd like to thank those members of your staff, Dr. Beard and Dr. Robinson. We also like to offer a very special thanks to the Chief of Staff, Linda Barge Miles, who Esquire, who really managed through some critical times. And without your assistance, we wouldn't be here today. And I'd like to thank Linda Barge Miles. She is very special, Dr. Beard. All of that said, we like to thank everybody that was involved, but we have a project team. Have you ever heard of a self-directed project team that with nobody in charge, because I was just a facilitator, who worked through this project with no arguments, no discord, no breakdowns, and kept focused on a mission and a goal? Well, I'm going to introduce you to that kind of project team, and I'm pleased and blessed to have been part of it. We wanted to do something permanently and that would really distinguish Eddie and Geraldine as really contributors to this. And we all, members of the project team, have all been influenced by both Eddie and Geraldine Jackson. Behind every great woman, behind every great man, there's a woman that says, boy, I did a great job. And that's Dr. Jackson. Well, but we wanted to equally display our appreciation and distinguish you as supporters of FAMU. With that said, I'm going to introduce you to 11 members of a project team that was actually formed the latter part of January and worked steadily toward achieving this goal. We want to first identify an undercover member of our project team. And as I mentioned, and this person can be the one that we're going to disclose at this time, is Dr. Lisa Jackson English. One where we got all the information and the pictures, we had to get an undercover team. And without her, we could not have done what we've done. And Dr. Jackson, please forgive us for using your daughter. Okay, but let me begin with a couple of members. Ed and Robert Norwood, would you please come forward, please, if you can. Ed and Robert Norwood are members that were part of the initial group and were very supportive and pushed me along to make sure we did the right thing. And they were great contributors to this project as well, both in time and in money. By the way, we had two supporters that come on here that didn't even graduate from them.
No, he did.
Oh, I mean,
I did.
Ed did. You did?
Yeah, somebody running the door. It's in the-
Robert Norwood. Okay. Next person I'd like to bring up is Sylvia Dupont. Would you please come forward, please? We talked about a full member of the team, and she was spot on with making sure that this display was quality. And we thank you so much for that. like to bring up, if they're here, Martha Wilson. Martha, where are you? Martha Wilson. Trustee Martha Wilson. Yeah, you need somebody to pray us along. So pray us along. Okay, and then we'd like to, Wilma Wiggs is not here, and I'm not sure if Audrey Smith is here. She's out of the state. Those were the females. We'd like to bring up Ron Joe. Colonel Ron Joe. We needed someone who was mission driven, and he certainly kept us on task. I'd like to bring up his we're going to introduce James. Ennis Jacobs is out of town. The Eldred Borders. Yeah, he's the part of the 220 and does all the accounting and everything. We want to keep out of trouble with our So, and Wilma Wiggs was also a part of the 220 team as well. McKinley Crockett. Would you come up, please? He comes out of the correction system. Okay. He comes out of the correction system, and we wanted to find somebody that could get us out of jail if we got. And then we had Ennis Jacobs, who is an Esquire as well, and he's out of town, but he was brought on because he's an attorney, and we wanted to make sure we had counsel. So, and then last but not least, have I left anybody out with James Matthews? James Matthews, who is going to introduce the contributors. Project and really co-facilitator, and it's one that I bounced a lot of ideas off of. But we work together to make it happen, and we're so thankful to him. And I'm blessed to be a part of the talented work team. So please give Bill another round of applause. Again, we might go to James Matthews with this time, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harold. And to President Beard, Interim President Robinson, and all of and then mixed up. And all of the other distinguished guests here today. I heard something the other day, and I don't know who to attribute it to, but they said, how do you forget someone who has given so much to remember? And we know that Eddie and Geraldine have given so much, and Jerry is still giving it, that we have a lot that we can remember about them. So I got really excited about this project when we first got started, because I said, if we're doing something for some great people. Now, let me say that Dr. Robinson and the university were very generous in what they did with this project. But we came over here one day to get the project started, and I heard somebody talking behind my back. They said, well, how y'all gonna pay for this? And I ignored it. Then somebody else said, well, it's not in the university's budget. I ignored that too. And you know, every time you try to cross the river, when you get to the water's edge, somebody gonna ask you, how you gonna pay for it? Mm-hmm. And then Colonel Joe started talking. He said, well, Dr. Robinson is gonna write a personal check. So that calmed us all down. We got real calm, and we just kept planning and going on with the project. A month later, asked Colonel Joe, said, well, where's the check? Colonel Joe said, well, the check's in the mail. I said, okay, we'll keep going, we'll keep planning. And then Apogee asked for 50% of their money. And I went back to Colonel Joe again. I said, Colonel Joe, what about that check? He said, the check's in the mail. I said, boy, the U.S. Postal Service takes a beat. But Dr. Robinson, we got that subtle message that we were gonna have to get out here and raise some money to get this project going. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the people that helped us when the time came to fund this project. We said we can't, go public with this because Eddie and Gerald, they would have shut us down. Eddie used to call me Matt. I could hear him saying, now Matt, no, y'all not gonna do this. So we couldn't go public. But we got together and we came up with a list of 20 people. I think we ended up with 21. And we said, we're gonna go to these 20 people and ask them to support this project. Not one of those 20 people said that they would not support us. As a matter of fact, they gave more than what we asked for. We ended up with more money to support this than we initially started out thinking that we would need. So I'm gonna call the names of those 20 that contributed to this and made this happen. First, we had James and Joyce Matthews, McKinley Crockett, Sylvia DuPont, Cleo Johnson, Ozzie Johnson, and you notice I said Cleo, they married, but both of them said, I'm gonna write a check for this. We had Walter Kelly, I think Walter is here. Joe Musgrave was a part of the family. Joe stepped up. Ronald Joe, Roosevelt Randolph, see Roosevelt back there. Michael Moore, Maurice Jones over in Jacksonville, he stepped up and Maurice keeps Jacksonville together. Lloyd Cobb, Lloyd is out of town, but he's always supported. Selvin Cobb, Virgil Valdez, Harold Thornton, Martha Wilson, Ed and Barbara Norwood. I started writing the list, and before I got to the first name, they slapped a check on the table and put a whole lot of pressure on them. So they were initial supporters. Reverend R.B. Holmes. I went to Reverend Holmes, and he told me that whatever the check needed to be, that he'll write it. But Reverend, I didn't put that much pressure on him. Gene McKinney. Rosier Consulting, and as always, I don't care what it is, Roy Moore and Piggly Wiggly. Where are you, Roy? Anytime you ask, he's always supportive. So we got to get an Audrey Smith. I wanna mention her and Clayton. Audrey did a magnificent job of setting up the account in the foundation so we could get these contributions coming in and get this going. Also, in terms of a little editing, Byron Dobson helped us. So we had a lot of help along the way. And we know that I didn't mention everybody's name in here, but you still can get your name. Eddie Jackson has a scholarship fund set up, and it's number 2714. Also, Eddie was just in love with this $1 million campaign. Yeah. And that's account number 2649. So we still can give to support Eddie's member. And I'm asking that, you know, some of us are already on all three of these accounts. I know I am. So if you haven't given, I'm asking you now to give to one of these accounts. As I said, I repeat it again, you got the Eddie Jackson Scholarship account, and it's number 2714, and the $1 Million Campaign, the account number 2649. So with that, I thank all of you for the support that you've given, and Dr. Jackson, we're just so happy and appreciative of all that y'all have done, and we thank you for that. Thank you.
This one is, we wanted to do this project, and there's another feature we wanted to hand it off to the university, Dr. Beard and Dr. Price and Provost and the College of Education, and also the AD, as a motivation for others who have given to this level. There are some other contributors and donors that have done a lot for the university, but it's to motivate folks. So we want it to be a perpetual giving wall of honor for those people who have risen to that level of support for the university. So that's another thing we wanted to mention, Dr. Beard, as part of our motivation to do this. So thank you so much for everything that you all have done. Okay, Carmen?
Right here.
Thank you so much. You know anything wrong with it?
Wow. Let's give another round of applause for the Wall of Honor team. And all of you who are part of this endeavor, this is what FAMU is all about. And we thank you so very much for your time, your talent, and your treasure, because we can do great things. President skates on, and he's going to have to bow. Officer Bond, on the shoulder, would you like to say another word?
I just want to say one thing, make sure I'm on all three of those lists. I need to get on each list. Let me just say this about me. Athletics is self-sustaining. And what that means, it pays for itself.
Yeah.
You don't get state allocations of athletics. We will give more money to athletics.
Oh.
There's no reason to be the #1 HBCU national champion. But I want to put our facilities in my high school,